Bioterrorism. What's bioterrorism? Usually it's using biological germs to kill your enemy. But that's not the only thing. If you want to start an epidemic, a couple of things you do. Reduce the amount of food people can eat. Okay. Ration. And destroy their water source. In Syria, Russians were great in that. Any kind of a modern city, they just targeted the filtration plant or any well. When they got to small villages, they filled in the wells, blew them up. Or usually it's the thing, kill a couple people, shove them down the well, then blow them up. So it gives a biological thing to the well. In the Ukraine, they do the same thing. Their forces would go into a village, shoot a couple people, throw them down wells, and then fill the well in, or blow up the well with the people inside. That means that the village did not have any source to wells. So what does that do? The village just simply gets up and leaves. Perfectly way of doing things. You get rid of your dead bodies, but you also get rid of that thing. Larger cities, they targeted the water treatment plants, any wells that were in the cities. You would all they do is sit outside and drop missiles into it. If you destroy a sewage treatment plant, then the sewage is no longer treated. Yes. And what's that thing is? Cholera and typhoid. You've got it. Get rid of fresh water. Same thing. Get rid of the fresh water, and people drink out of the sewer. Well, actually, hopefully they drink out of the sewer for the Russians' viewpoint. If it doesn't rain, if it does rain, there's puddles, and usually the grounds are so saturated with everything else you don't want to drink out of. People either filter it or they go back and drink vodka. But it's called biological terrorism. Destroy the garbage trucks, destroy the schools, destroy the hospitals, destroy the apartment buildings so they're unfit to live in. Of course, in a war zone, you may blow up the apartment building, get that thing, but these apartment buildings are made out of concrete. The old Russian way, and a lot of them came up from the Russian era where they made everything out of concrete. The reason they made them out of concrete, which is very funny, is most of them can withstand a 40 pound per square inch overpressure from a nuclear weapon. So what it would do is basically blow everything out of the apartment, and basically do that, but the building will still be standing. It's like, wow. Of course, you do that in America, 10 pounds per square inch overpressure, and the building crumbles. Oh yeah, it was Russia. As they're fighting in a city that has a steel plant. The building was built for a nuclear war, literally having a nuclear blast over the steel plant. So you have that thing. And people would go hide in basements. The subway systems were built by the Russians for a nuclear war, with NATO, right? But the Russians also know where all the water wells are, and they destroy those buildings. They destroy the sewer system. They send missiles into the streets, which blows up the sewer system, the water mains, electric stuff. So basically, to destroy a city, you destroy everything in it. And you expect to have epidemics. Cholera, typhoid, lice. Oh, you better know it. And if you're lucky, the Russians are lucky, I shouldn't say it lucky, you can have plague by Mother Nature. Rats if they don't get enough to eat, within their system, there's a gene that basically causes Black Death, bubonic plague. And if you can activate that in, they don't get enough to eat, then you have a good chance of killing the people around them. Rats, bubonic plague in rats, the fleas will bite the rat. Fleas love to drink blood. And then right before the rat dies, they find another host, and rats around humans, and you will have bubonic plague among the humans. Hey, it's Mother Nature. It's called bioterrorism. The Russians are very good at that. They've been doing it for 1,000 years. Wherever they go, you can expect to see that. And they don't have to introduce biological warfare into the city because they simply cause it. During World War II, the bombing of cities, first of all, you had England being bombed, but then you had the Italian being bombed, and you had cholera, you had typhoid. In rare cases, you did have bubonic plague, but it destroyed. Hey, and then you have the dead lying about, drawing flies in. Well, now in Ukraine, they basically buried everything, laying in the streets if they can. It's springtime, yeah. I think the Russians basically goofed in their time scale. I mean, February 24th, it was 30 degrees below zero. February 25th, it was 30 degrees above zero. Yeah, it's like, whoops, lazy. Will this war continue for a long time? Yes. Will the Russians go in there and destroy whatever they go doing? All they do is drop in a missile. They can sit, X number of miles away, but kill them, 1,000 miles away and drop a cruise missile in their ICBM. Pinpoint the thing at the location they want. So, they have to. I don't agree with the Russians. I don't agree with Putin, but biological weapons, yes. And he doesn't have to drop germ warfare into it because you destroy, as I said before, you destroy the water source, you destroy the sewage plants, and everybody poops, and you get the dead, and they draw flies. Yes. And Putin will simply sit back and wait till that happens. And it's springtime, and it's warm, and the flies will come, and the plague will be there, and some of those cities have a lot of people in them, and they're going to be infected. And Putin can kill, 10 million people. He's a monster. Yes. Yes. But he has 1,000 years of history behind him. Read Russian history and you understand that thing. Read World War II and you understand. Right. It goes back to bad water, no sewage, health goes down, rat population booms, and Mother Nature. Mother Nature's not on his side. Mother Nature's not on anybody's side. It just happens as it happens, Okay. Putin's a genius? No. He's just doing what history has always taught him to do. Kill his enemy, which happens to be all Ukrainians. Kill all the Ukrainians. Kill all the NATO forces if he can. If he starts a biological, if there's a bubonic plague breakout in the Ukraine, it's going to spread into Poland and all the NATO countries, just like that. And you can sit back there and laugh. Ha 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 ha.